is Rena, and I'm a junior in high school. I live near Princeton, New Jersey, and I am super excited to start our second day of the conference. Just to dive right into things, we will be having two very special guests today, Randy Silverman and Dr. Nandi. We are thrilled to present these people and for you all to have a great time. Our SWL team is striving to empower the innovators, creators, and leaders of tomorrow, and that's you. We're inspiring the leaders of tomorrow to take control of your futures by leading the conversations on mental wellness, leadership, and what it means to create a healthier future for this world. In order to achieve this, we need to make sure that everyone is respected and that everyone respects themselves. Finally, to get truly into today, we're going to do some drawing, journaling, and even get moving a little bit. I would recommend having a couple of pencils and something to write and draw on. Be sure to get comfy because we're going to be here for a while. Alrighty, I'm going to hand you off to my friend and the next MC, Lily.
Thank you, Rena. I appreciate the warm welcome. My name is Lily, and I am a senior in high school right now. I live in Austin, Texas, and I first heard about SWL through a friend who is part of the leadership team. I thought it was a great opportunity to participate in conversations about mental health, which is important anytime, but especially right now, considering all that is going on in the world. I think today is going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you all enjoyed the sessions and speakers from yesterday. Today we're going to get in a lot of learning, thinking, and reflecting, and I hope you guys are as excited as we are. So I know it's still kind of early, so we can start with an icebreaker. We have some guiding questions, and these are just some things to think about throughout the conference. Feel free to think about them in your head or write down your answers, whatever is comfortable for you. So our first question for you guys is, what do you think of when you hear the term mental health? Do you feel there are any stigmas or stereotypes surrounding it? Personally, I think a lot about how our view on mental health has changed just in the past few years. Like, I know when I was a kid, it wasn't really discussed. I wasn't really aware of mental illness. And now we have like Mental Health Awareness Month and conferences like these where we can actually talk about it and have productive conversations. What about you, Rena?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I guess our generation has kind of broken the stigma around it, and knowing that it's okay to need help and it's okay to want to get help. And yeah, I think as a person, it has helped me realize that if I'm not okay, it's okay, and I can reach out to friends, and there's people out there like this SWL community that can help everyone out, and at least to the best of their ability. Yeah, so moving right on along with our guiding questions, our next question is going to be, what do you hope to get from this conference? What are you hoping to learn? Are you hoping to connect with the speakers, get some answers, or maybe even all three? I honestly am really excited and looking forward to the speakers, because yesterday's speakers were really awesome, and I know today's speakers are going to be even the same, even better. But I'm really excited to get to know those speakers and get to know a little bit about themselves. And what about you, Lily?
I'm in the same boat. I'm just very excited to hear what the speakers have to say. I don't really have like any specific goal or expectation. I'm just kind of here because I think it's a really interesting topic, and I'm excited to learn. If you're having trouble thinking about what you want out of this conference, think about why you signed up. Maybe you signed up to learn, or you have specific questions you want to ask, or maybe you're like me and you just thought it was a cool topic. What about you, Rena?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I joined SWL Leadership Team as just something to get volunteer hours, and I ended up loving it in its whole. I definitely think I've grown through the experience, and I think all of you guys are definitely going to see that coming through in all of our activities today, and how it can just help you so much. So just keep thinking about that through the conference and why you signed up. And also try to take note of how you feel now, and try to remember this feeling. Maybe jot it down if it's a word, how you feel. Do you feel great? Do you feel sad? What do you feel? Just to compare it to at the end, see, how much difference did it make, or, just how you're feeling in general, because I love to experience, know how I'm feeling, and then kind of check in with myself. So do that a little bit. What about you, Lily?
Right now, I'm just feeling really ready to learn something new. Like I mentioned, I don't have a specific goal in mind. I just want to have an open mind, I think I'm probably going to learn something that's contradictory to what I think about mental health. That's really exciting because I don't know, I like being challenged in the way that I think. Um, so, our final guiding question is, what are you most excited for today? Maybe there is a specific topic or speaker that you have been wanting to hear from, or you have some takeaways from yesterday's sessions that you want to explore more today. What do you think right now?
Yeah, I think that I'm really excited for the activities we have planned. Lily and I, we worked really hard on trying to see what would everyone like the most. And we did some self-reflection, seeing what we would like the most. But I think our activities today that we've put together are really going to help y'all understand, I guess, the whole concept of SWL and really enjoy it. So those were our breakout or guiding questions. Sorry. Feel free to jot anything down while we're talking, anything if you remember. But as Lily said, these guiding questions are incredibly important to keep you guys focused during the whole conference. Journaling is another thing that can help you stay focused, and I love journaling personally, but I'm not very regular with it. So right now, I would like you guys to try writing down your responses to those guiding questions, whatever you can remember, and we're now going to take about 3 minutes to do those. Maybe journal, maybe elaborate on some of those questions and see what you can find. There's also a journaling section in your wellness bundle, which you can use. And I really like that because everything is all in one place and I can find all of my journaling from there. So yeah, we're going to take about 3 minutes to do that. Alrighty, Lily, take it away.
So I hope you guys had a good time journaling. I know for me, I always find it really relaxing just to sit down and write something. Sometimes I'll like play music in the background. I don't actually have a journal that I write in, so today I just kind of wrote on some loose leaf paper. But I feel like it's like the practice rather than what you write on that matters. So yeah, right now we are about to transition into our first speaker, who is the founder and executive director of the Youth Mental Health Project, as well as the screenwriter of the multi-award-winning film No Letting Go. So please give a warm welcome to Randy Silverman.
Hi everyone, please welcome Ms. Randy Silverman. She's the founder and executive director of the Youth Mental Health Project and the screenwriter and producer of the multi-award winning film No Letting Go. As one of the nation's leading voices on the topic of youth mental health, Randy frequently travels the country to speak about the importance of understanding the mental health needs of children, teens, and young adults, and to facilitate community conversations after screenings of No Letting Go. Receiving critical acclaim from film reviewers and mental health organizations alike, the film has won over 20 awards at independent film festivals worldwide. Randy is the recipient of the Mogan Shu Award for Public Service and Advocacy from the International Society of Bipolar Disorders, and the Media Award from NAMI New York State. With a focus on increasing awareness and changing the narrative about mental health, particularly as it relates to youth, Randy and her team at the Youth Mental Health Project have created educational materials and programs to empower, educate, and support families and communities around the important issues related to the mental health of youth. Randy is a graduate of the University of Pittsburgh School of Law and a member of the board of directors of the International Bipolar Foundation. And now that you know a little bit more about her, let's listen to a Mental Health 101.
Thanks for having me here today at the Student Wellness and Leadership Summit. My name is Randy Silverman, and I'm the Executive Director and founder of the Youth Mental Health Project. Our organization works hard every day to educate, empower, and support families and communities to understand the importance of caring for youth mental health. I'm standing here not just as the Executive Director of a not-for-profit organization. I am also here as a mom. When my sons were little, I had no idea that a child could struggle with a mental health problem for no reason. My middle son, who was funny and adorable and outgoing and energetic and had lots of friends, suddenly around 7 years old, began to hate everything. He began to hate school. He stopped playing with friends. He didn't want to engage in any of the activities that he liked before. I actually went to a school psychologist when he was in first grade because I was concerned about these behaviors. I didn't know what they were about. And as a mom, I couldn't figure out how to parent him so he wouldn't be so anxious. She went to observe him for 5 minutes and came back and told me that I was the one with the problem. I believed that. And I thought that a child's behavior is directly related to how you parent. As my son continued to struggle, I got plenty of advice. Use sticker charts. Maybe I need to be more strict. Maybe I need to figure out a better reward or a harder consequence. But nothing I did seemed to work. Every day, my little son just got worse. By the time he was in third grade, he started to refuse to go to school. I thought for sure something terrible was going on. Was he being bullied? Were the kids mean? Was the schoolwork too hard? Did he have a learning disability? I read everything I could get my hands on. One day during third grade, he came home from school on a day that he actually went and looked up at me and cried and said, "Mommy, I don't want to be alive anymore." He was 9 years old. What 9-year-old is that anxious or that sad? It didn't make sense. We lived in a nice neighborhood. We were a nice family. He had loving parents and brothers who cared for him. It just didn't make any sense. There had to be a reason. He was ultimately diagnosed with anxiety and depression. By the time he was 10, he was hospitalized. And by the time he was 12, he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. It was a painful experience for all of us. But you know what the worst part was? The worst part was that I didn't know. How can you get help for a problem you don't know exists or that you think couldn't possibly apply to you? And that's the problem we have in our world. Mental health is a very complicated and nuanced topic. It's difficult to talk about, and most people generally don't. And so for the past 15 years, I've become a mental health advocate. I've learned quite a lot about mental health, particularly as it applies to children, teens, and young adults. And I've learned how difficult it can be for families and children to navigate because it's not something people know how to talk about. I'm hoping in this talk to not only share the knowledge that I've learned along the way, but to start a conversation with you and give you language to continue the conversation. We cannot get help to the young people in our society if we don't break the barriers around the conversation and learn how to talk about it in the same way we're able to talk about our physical problems and our physical health. This is one of my favorite quotes from Brene Brown. People ask me all the time, why are you sharing your story? The truth is, I share my story to give it as an example to other people so that they won't be afraid to share their stories. More importantly, no one should have to live in shame or fear because they have a health disorder that it's not their fault they have. During my adventures of becoming a mental health advocate and sharing my story, I was in the right place at the right time with a young filmmaker who wanted to make a movie. And I had a story to tell. So we sat down and together wrote a powerful screenplay called No Letting Go, which is based on the true story of my family. It's available on Amazon and other streaming devices. So feel free to watch it and have a conversation with your community. That's what the movie was made for. So let's take a step back and talk about why we should even care about this topic. The truth is 1 in 5 kids in our country struggle with a diagnosable mental health condition. That's almost 18 million children. 80% of them are not getting treatment for their diagnosable mental health conditions. This is the saddest statistic of all. The second leading cause of death in ages 10 to 24 years old is suicide. That's absolutely horrific. I want to point out that these statistics were true prior to the COVID pandemic. There really has never been a more important time than now to understand and care about our mental health and the mental health of our children. COVID has made things immeasurably worse than they used to be. I'm grateful that we're hearing more people talk about mental health, but we should recognize that there was a mental health crisis prior to COVID. COVID is only exacerbating it and making it worse. Here's another thing most people don't know. Mental health conditions are more common than heart disease, lung disease, and cancer combined. If the second leading cause of death in ages 10 to 24 is suicide, and mental health disorders are more common than lung disease, heart disease, and cancer combined, why isn't this one of the number one health problems we are talking about? Why haven't we learned more about early intervention and prevention of these problems so that they don't turn into the crisis that we're looking at today? Do you know when mental health problems generally start? Half of all lifetime cases of mental health disorders emerge before the age of 14 years old. 14 years old. 75% emerge before the age of 24. What that means is that young people, children, preteens, adolescents begin to struggle with their mental health at very young ages. And here's what we know. Just like any other health problem, early intervention and detection is the key to promoting better outcomes. When I'm giving this talk to live audiences, I'll ask everybody who has mental health to raise their hands. That's right. If you have mental health, raise your hand. People will go like this. So about half the audience will raise their hand like this. I don't know. What is she talking about? And the reason is that when we hear the term mental health, we automatically think about mental illness. Think about that. If I say to you, we're going to have a talk about mental health, it's the first thing you think about. If we want to be able to have more productive conversations that will help us get to early intervention and prevention, we need to know what language to use. We hear about mental illness, we hear about mental wellness, we hear about mental health. What does it all mean? I'm sure you've heard this before, but language is really important. Just like physical health, we all have mental health. What we need to do is improve our understanding of what that means. So, okay, what is mental health? There's actually a definition I'd like to share with you. Mental health is a state of emotional, psychological, and social well-being that impacts our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. It's important at every stage of life. In fact, you're born with mental health the same way you're born with physical health. When we talk about physical health, we intuitively understand that we're talking about our current state of physical health. Do you have a cold? Are you sick? Are you healthy? So healthy, you're going to run the New York Marathon, something I have never done. But when we talk about mental health, we think, well, I don't have any mental health problems. Most people will say, I don't have mental health. The truth is, some of us have chronic physical health conditions, diabetes or asthma or severe allergies that we have to manage. And yes, unfortunately, some people have physical health conditions that are terminal or completely debilitating. The same is true with mental health. Why do we expect mental health to be any different? Children are born with mental health and it evolves throughout a lifetime. Mental health is not binary. It's not illness or wellness. Mental health lies on a continuum, just like our physical health. Sometimes we are well and sometimes we are ill. Some people live with chronic health conditions. The question is, How do we recognize that it's time for us to get help? If you are unable to get out of bed due to a physical health problem and you can't function because you have a high fever or you're delirious, you know you're ill. So it really comes down to, how do we define illness? As you'll see on the continuum, the way you define whether you're well or ill or somewhere in between is based on how you are functioning. I'd like to make a point about diagnoses and labels. Many people assume that if you have a diagnosis, a mental health diagnosis, a psychiatric diagnosis, then that automatically means you have a mental illness. Having a diagnosis or a disorder is not the definition of illness. People with diagnoses or disorders can live incredibly healthy and robust lives. So it's not having the diagnosis that makes someone ill. Is it more likely that someone with a particular diagnosis or disorder could become ill during their lifetime? Well, of course. Someone with diabetes has a much higher risk of illness than someone without diabetes. There are pre-existing conditions. I know we've heard a lot about that these days. And those pre-existing conditions can make you more susceptible to illness. But there are plenty of people in the world who live with anxiety, depression, and other psychiatric and mental health disorders that are not ill, that lead full, fulfilling, and good, productive lives. One of the big questions I always get asked is, how do I know when it's time to seek help? How do I know when it's time to encourage my friend or my family member to consider seeking help? I really want to just give a brief overview of what some of the typical signs to be concerned about are for teenagers and young adults. Excessive worry. Well, we all worry sometimes. I have to say, during this time of COVID and the election, it's hard not to worry. So what does excessive mean? Think about how intense the worrying is. How often does it happen and how long does it last? But if it's excessive to the point where it's interfering or impairing your functioning at school, at home, or even when you're on your own, that's when it's time to seek help. Feeling sad or low for 2 or more weeks. Think about how intense is the feeling of sadness in compared to what it is you're feeling sad about. How long does it last? We're all sad sometimes, and it seems these days it's easier than ever to feel blue. But being sad and being blue aren't necessarily signs of a mental health disorder. Again, I'd encourage you to think about, how are you or your friend or your loved one functioning in the world? And are you able to get out of bed? Is your friend able to go to school? Is your loved one so impaired that they can barely have a phone call with you? Think again about how the person's functioning in the world. But if someone suddenly shifts his behavior to not wanting to be with anyone, not engaging in activities that used to be enjoyable, that's a sign of concern. Believe it or not, physical ailments can be signs of mental health disorders. My son spent several years at medical doctors as we looked for answers for his stomach aches, his chronic headaches. We visited so many physicians and no one could find a reason for all of his chronic medical condition. Changing of sleep habits or eating habits can also be signs to be concerned about. Lack of motivation, just not wanting to do anything. And that actually happens to me quite a bit these days. I think I'm getting tired of the news, and I'm certainly getting really tired of the pandemic. But if the lack of motivation you or a friend or a loved one has is impairing the way you function in the world, preventing you from seeing friends, shutting down your relationships, making you feel ill, that's a sign of concern. And of course, increased moodiness. Well, I think everybody's pretty moody these days, and no offense, when I was a teenager, I was extremely moody. So I'm not talking about your regular moodiness, but moodiness that interferes with your relationships, that interferes with your work, that interferes with your ability to take care of yourself. that's a sign of concern. Don't forget about risky and dangerous behaviors. But if someone is continuously engaging in risky and dangerous behaviors over and over and over again, and that's impacting them, they're in danger in some way, their life is threatened, then I would say that's a sign to be concerned about. Above all else, be kind, because everyone is struggling with something you know nothing about. Your generation is the kindest, most empathetic generation of all. You've struggled. Life has not been easy for you, but you're champions, you're leaders. And I believe if we are ever going to make progress in early intervention and prevention of serious mental health disorders among young people and among adults, we need to start improving our language and understanding so that we're not afraid to talk about it. I have faith in you. I hope I've shared some knowledge with you today that's helpful. If I leave you with nothing else, I hope you will walk away thinking that we all have mental health and it's nothing to be ashamed of. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for having me. I want to remind you that we have free educational materials to download on our website. We've got lots of fact sheets about different disorders, anxiety, depression, along with our mental health continuum and signs, and how to look for signs and concerns. We're all about education and support. So feel free to go onto our website at ymhproject.org and download our materials. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks very much. And never forget, we all have mental health. Thanks for having me.
I hope you guys had a great time writing down some thoughts and reflecting in your wellness bundle. Now I want to take some time to just get a little break. So let's take a moment to check in with ourselves. If you're feeling like you've been staring at a screen for a while, feel free to stand up, walk around, get some water and stretch. I heard something that helps with avoiding headaches from screen time is like focusing on objects around the room just for like 15 seconds at a time. And yeah, so we have about 5 minutes for this break, and so do whatever you feel is best. You can turn down your screen brightness, maybe grab a snack or lie down. And yeah, just go ahead and take about 3 to 4 minutes to relax.
All right, I hope you guys had a good little short detox. We're going to do some breathing exercises, which are extremely important in our current state. This is our next activity, and some of these exercises are actually beneficial to increase immunity, which is especially important during COVID-19, like I was mentioning. Deep breathing can actually help restore diaphragm function and increases lung capacity. The goal is to build up your ability to breathe deeply during any activity and not just while at rest. Deep breathing exercises can also lessen feelings of anxiety, stress, which are common for someone who's experienced severe symptoms of COVID-19 or admitted to a hospital. Sleep quality can actually also improve with these breathing exercises, and anyone can benefit from these deep breathing exercises, but they do play an extremely important role in COVID-19 recovery. These exercises can be started at home during self-isolation and are easily incorporated in daily routines. So we have a couple of different phases of exercises, you could say. A couple of them do involve laying down, which I'm not going to do for you right now, but I will go through it, and I will tell you how you should feel at that moment. So our first phase would be breathing while on your back. So lie on your back. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to do that. All right, this could be on the floor, on a yoga mat, maybe on your bed, wherever you feel the most comfortable. And then bend your knees so that the bottom of your feet are resting on the bed fully. Place your hands on top of your stomach or wrap them around the sides of your stomach, like kind of overlapping. Close your lips and place your tongue on the roof of your mouth, and then breathe in through the nose and pull the air down to your stomach where your hands are. So you should kind of feel like it's being sucked by a straw down. I don't really know how to use words to explain that, but it should feel like a very smooth movement of the air from your nose all the way down to your stomach. And try to spread your fingers apart with your breath, like your fingers that are on your stomach. And then slowly exhale and then breathe in again through your nose. So try to take the deepest breaths, and that doesn't mean taking the fastest breath. You need to do whatever feels right. So I'm going to do it sitting up, but it's going to feel a little weird in the beginning, but it's really a really good exercise to get that air flowing all the way through your body. So I will give you guys, I guess, a couple seconds to do that. Yeah, you can also write this down in your notebook for later because I feel like these are extremely beneficial. Alrighty, so now you're actually gonna flip over and do deep breathing while on your stomach. So lie on your stomach and rest your head on your hands. So kind of like this, or like this actually it would be. Close your lips and place your tongue at the roof of your mouth like before. Breathe in through your nose and pull all the air down to your stomach, kind of like it's a straw pulling it down. Focus on your stomach pushing into the mattress or into the floor as you breathe, and then slowly breathe in through your nose with those deep breaths again. Alrighty, so next we're going to move to the exercise that I actually can do with you guys. Sitting upright on the edge of a bed or on a sturdy chair. I'm on my desk chair that I use for school every day. Okay, let me give you a second, just get to your desk or the edge of your bed. So now place your hands around the sides of your stomach and close your lips and place your tongue on the roof of your mouth, like before. Breathe in through your nose and pull the air down to your stomach. Again, thinking like a straw, bringing it down, and do this. Slowly exhale and breathe in through your nose. So okay, so now we're gonna do basically what we've been doing, but standing up. So let me try and take you guys while I'm standing up. Yeah, so I'm just going to do the same thing, wrapping my arms around my stomach and putting my tongue on the roof of my mouth and closing my lips and just doing a lot of deep, deep breathing. Alrighty. Sorry. Oops. So yeah, that's basically it for this part of the breathing exercises. Our next part is to do some stretches that kind of have to do with breathing, kind of not. I don't know. I just love stretches in general. So I thought I'd incorporate some here. So sit upright. Most of the time we are slouching to see a computer screen. Oh, you can't even see me. Like slouching all the time on our phones, on our laptops and everything. And I know I do this all the time. But try to sit as straight as you can. It's easier, honestly, if you're on the edge of a chair, at least for me. Okay, so then you're gonna sit upright and reach your arms above you to the side. I love doing this one. Maybe pop your shoulder, maybe don't. Please don't hurt yourself. Do some arm circles, some bigger arm circles. Again, one of these. Stretch your arms out and bring it down. Ooh, it's been a long day already. All right, so our last exercise actually has to do with breathing. We're gonna do a humming activity. So I'm gonna explain to you a little bit of the science behind it in a way. So humming while exhaling helps increase nitric oxide production in the body. So nitric oxide helps with neutral plasticity, which is the building and repair of the nervous system, which is extremely important. It dilates blood vessels, enabling more oxygen to be delivered throughout the body. Humming is also very calming and soothing. I can speak from personal experience. It reduces much of my stress and it can help someone remain in a restoration mode and in that relaxation phase, which is especially important. So you're going to sit upright on the edge of your bed, like I was mentioning. Place your hands on the sides of your stomach. It's not as important in this activity to place your hands on your stomach, but you can. Then with your lips closed and your tongue at the roof of your mouth, you're going to breathe in like we were doing, pull all the air down, and when you release, after your lungs are completely full, keep your lips closed and exhale while humming. And it should make a sound. You should kind of feel like almost at the back of your teeth are like chattering on each other, like yeah, I don't know how to explain that other than chattering. And then again, inhale through your nose and then exhale while humming. So I'll go do a couple with you guys. So and honestly, how long you breathe it out for doesn't really matter. Just try not to go like all at once. Try to stretch it out for as long as you can. Do it whatever you can. I'll do a couple more. I like to do this one at night sometimes, even before I go to bed, just because it calms me down a lot. And I think the humming sound, just hearing it kind of calms me down as well. So yeah, that's it for the breathing exercises. I really hope you enjoyed. I hope you got a chance to write them down and maybe practice them in the future, because they are quite important and quite helpful, especially for immunity and COVID-19 and all of this mess that we have here. Next, I'm going to throw it back to Lily.
Thank you, Rena. That was really great. I actually hadn't known about any of those exercises, so thank you for sharing them. So now I want to introduce another activity for you guys. I figure we have been doing a lot of writing and thinking, so it might be nice to get in some creative drawing time. Don't worry if you aren't an artist, I definitely am not, but I think there's a lot of value in just putting something down on paper, and no one's going to see it if you don't want to. So grab a sheet of paper or a notebook, and we can get started. You don't need anything other than a pencil or a pen, but if you want to color in, you can get some markers or some colored pencils. For me, I just have paper and I have a blue pen. So the first thing that we're going to draw is something that makes you feel calm. This could be a place, a person, an activity, maybe something visual for a song that you like, honestly anything. So for me, I always feel really calm when it's cold outside and I'm like inside and I have like a TV show going on and maybe some like hot chocolate. So I guess I'll probably draw something like a window and maybe television, and yeah. So we're just gonna take maybe like a minute or so to draw whatever makes you feel calm. You can draw multiple things. I know for me I picked like one thing, but feel free to do whatever you want. It's your drawing. I honestly haven't drawn since like, I don't know, elementary school. So I'll show you guys what I have, but please don't judge. All right, 1 second. I also feel there's something pretty calming about just drawing and not having a ton of background noise. I say that, but I'm talking, but just drawing and hearing your pencil or your pen is really calming. All right, I'm almost done with this drawing. I don't know what to add. Oh. I also feel like I probably drew something related to the cold because it is November, and even though I live in Texas, things have still been, well, they've been kind of cold, but I'm sure some of you guys watching from, I know Rena said that you're near Princeton, so I'm sure you're gonna laugh when I say like 60s is cold, but it's cold for us. So, but yeah, this is what I ended up drawing. It's just like, it's just a little scene of like a snowy window and a TV and a rug. Maybe I'll go back in later and add like a bedside table and a bed or something. But yeah, okay, so feel free to set that one aside. And now we are going to draw something super specific. So it's always nice to focus on the detail and the little things. So find an object in your room or office and set it in front of you. And then pick a 1-inch square of that object to draw. Focus on the tiny details within that square. Maybe there's like some scratches or something. And include all the little tiny details that we tend to glance over. So for me, I guess I'll draw this pencil, and the tiny, like the square that I'll pick, I'll draw just the eraser part. I guess it's kind of a generic thing to draw, but who cares? So yeah, feel free to pick whatever object best suits you. I know probably a lot of you guys have your phone on you. You can draw your phone. For me, I'd be drawing a lot of like cracks because my screen is kind of messed up, but that's okay. You can make this whatever size you want. I realized on my drawing it's going to be kind of small, but if you want to try to zoom in on this object and draw it like the size of your entire paper, go for it. Well, honestly, whatever suits you. So I'll give you guys maybe a few minutes to do this one. All right, for me, I don't know. I think right now would be a cool time to have some coloring pencils because drawing a pencil with a pen doesn't really convey everything that it looks like. But I just drew like the eraser part, and so this is what I have. Like I said, I'm not an artist by any means, so I hope that that's okay. I feel like one of you guys are probably like an amazing artist. Just okay. So now before we move on to the next activity, we can draw whatever comes to mind. The only rule for this activity is that you can't stop. So whatever is coming up in your head, just draw it. If you want to scribble all over the page, do that. Or if you're really set on continuing one of your previous drawings, go for it. But yeah, just draw whatever comes to mind and don't worry about how it looks. The purpose of this is to just enjoy. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna draw. I think maybe I'll try to draw like a shoe or something. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to do this one. I'm actually gonna get a different sheet of paper. I realize it's kind of hard to draw something when you don't have anything to reference. So this shoe is looking a little bit asymmetrical, but that's okay. Alrighty. I don't know how good this one looks, but it was fun to do, nevertheless. This is my shoe. I don't really know what brand this would be. It's kind of generic. But yeah, so feel free to finish up your last drawing or add on to a few other ones. But right now we are going to head into a break.
all well. Our next keynote speaker is Dr. Partha Nandi, the creator and host of The Dr. Nandi Show. His medical lifestyle talk show, Ask Dr. Nandi, has won National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences Michigan Emmy Awards. The show advocates finding the best healing techniques from both Eastern and Western medicine to solve various diseases and ailments. The show heavily utilizes Dr. Nandi's experience as an active holistic health practitioner and patient advocate. The global television program reaches 95 million homes in the US and more than 80 countries worldwide. Get ready to listen to his talk on being a #health hero, 5 steps to living a joyful life.
Thank you, Claire. I recall it like it was yesterday. I remember I traveled to India on a trip during the summer. It was a really hot summer month, and I traveled to a city called Calcutta, which was my birth city. And as I was in a packed bus, and we were all packed in like sardines, and there was an open window that I was sitting. I was sitting in a seat with an open window, and I looked outside my window, and the traffic was stopped everywhere. There were cars and vehicles of all kinds that were stopping traffic. And I saw in this wide boulevard, and these streets were made from colonial times where British ruled India, and these wide streets had these boulevards had these places in between. And in this particular street, I saw an entire family that was living on the street. There was a mother, I believe it was a mother, it was a female, that was having a stove. I think it was a wood stove or a kerosene stove, cooking. It was close to evening, so she was cooking an evening meal, and there was a male that was likely a father, and he was in another side actually teaching the children something about their school. So this whole family, while we were in this entire uh, bustling street full of cars and vehicles, the whole family unit was they were cooking and studying in the midst of all that. And I saw something really interesting. I saw them laugh, and I saw joy in their lives. And it really struck me. It was several years ago this happened, but it really struck me that in the midst of that time when there's so much to complain about, right? And you're essentially homeless. You're in the middle of a boulevard, and you are surrounded by vehicles, yet you find joy, that joy in your life. So what's that all about, right? That's what I thought to myself. What's that about? I mean, I live in a country that has all the luxuries and that you can ever imagine. Far cry from this place that I was looking at and seeing this boulevard with the family that really doesn't have a reason to have the joy. At least that's what we're taught, but they do. So what gives? And it was such an important lesson because joy is not it's not a feeling that is imparted through a like, right, on social media. It's not imparted through somebody telling you that you're worth this or that, or the value of your house, or the value of your car, or whatever surrogate, whatever representation you get to show that this is what success or joy or happiness is like, right? So that's the key. It's really something that comes from within. So how is it that you live a joyful life? Right? How is it that you can actually have a sense of joy in your life? Like the family on the street in Calcutta that hot summer day. I wrote about this. I was, this has been a passion of mine to, at the end of the day, right? I mean, economics are important and all of it, having a nice house and this and that is really important. Having the biggest phone in the world, whatever it is, it's important. But really, there are some basic ideas to living a joyful life. And I wrote a book. I wrote a book about that. 5 steps towards being what I call your own health hero and living a joyful life. And so when you break it down, let's talk about that family, right? I mean, at least we start with that family. What is it that they have? They have what often I talk to students and I talk to kids and adults of all ages and ask them a simple question. What motivates you? What drives you? What is it that juices you up? Well, my wife and I, right? We jump out of bed. Why? Because we feel like we're impacting the lives of thousands of folks. We have a television show and I'm an author and we feel like we impact the lives of many. And there's many ways to do it. You can be a teacher, you can be a engineer, you can be uh, a physician, whatever you want to do, and you impact people's lives. We feel like we impact people's lives. That juices us up every day. We feel like we have purpose in our lives. And so the first and to me the most important component of a joyful life is purpose. And as a physician, I love that it also impacts your life and your health. And so having a purposeful life is not easy. It's one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do. And it's a process, right? It's to find out what really makes you very, very happy and joyful. And it doesn't have to be that you get a bunch of money or some reward. It's just something that inherently makes you feel good. Listen, all of us have real lives, right? I mean, you have to pay this, you have to do that, you have to pay, do things that you don't want to do every single day. But to me, a great exercise in finding out having a purposeful life, having a life that you really feel like, God, this is something I really want to do, right? You know, a simple exercise every single day on the back of the door of your, I don't know, your bedroom or bathroom, have a like a piece of paper or any place where you can write. On the left hand side, write all the things that you do that really you feel has no purpose, has really no meaning. On the right side, try to write down the things that you feel have definite meaning in your life that really gives you purpose. And then look at that, revisit that every few days over several weeks. You'll notice something that you'll stop doing the things that are not as purposeful. It's a simple exercise. And when you do that, what happens is your life changes. Your life changes when you have purpose, right? When you are motivated, you really you don't need folks to tell you that, yeah, what you're doing is worthwhile. And it could be as simple things, right? I don't ever have to tell my teenage daughter that she has to turn the phone on, right? She turns it on. She turns it on no matter what. I mean, she has purpose in that action. So what you're doing by creating a list is making it so that it becomes something that's subconscious, that you're doing things that are purposeful. And you talk about your health, why that's so important is that there's something called a fight or flight mechanism that rules us. Uh, when we were, thousands and thousands of years ago, we were hunters and gatherers. We wanted to eat lunch and not be lunch, right? That was really important. So this fight or flight mechanism allowed us to be able to have that juice that allowed us to run, no danger, so we could escape it, so that we would have no problems in actually escaping danger, which is great back then. But now, when you have unrest, when you have purposeless lives, right? I mean, I'm sure many of you know when you ask them, what is it that drives you? You'll get a blank stare because there's nothing that drives or nothing that gives you purpose. So when you find that purpose, when you find purposeful living, it doesn't have to be that you're going to save the planet from pollution or do something really, really tremendous in society's view. It could be small things, to be the best mom, best dad, best husband, best wife, best firefighter, whatever your goal is. If it's purposeful, what it does is decreases the unrest in your body. You have less dis-ease, right? I mean, right? The opposite of having good health is disease, right? So when you have a purposeful life, what happens is that you really are able to decrease that unrest. And that helps you to be clear in your thought, and it helps your health. So the first step of the 5 steps, having a purposeful life. So, you know, it is difficult to do, but not impossible. One of the things that a lot of my patients, they tell me, well, I I hate Dr. Nandy. I hate to go to the gym. I can't stand it. And I tell them, listen, when you go to the gym and you really hate it, when you say that it's terrible, guess what happens? Your stress hormones in your body increases. So all the things you go to the gym to really fight are actually increased. Your cortisol level increases, and all of the hormones that actually help you not to get to a healthy weight are increased when you're hating something. So the second step is movement, but not just movement, purposeful movement, right? One of the most important parts of having a joyful life is having a moving body. So to me, human beings were made to move, right? So in the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of folks have really suffered from trying to get that joy because of the fact is that they're not moving, because they feel like if they can't go out and do things like go out to restaurants and eat or go to the theater or something, they're not moving. And I actually propose that no matter in whatever situation, you're able to move. And why is that important for joy? And why is that important for your health? Because when you move, you're allowing all of the hormones that produce natural equilibrium in your body, right? All of the movement that allows your body to be healthy, all of the movement that allows your body to be able to have all of the hormones and products that your body creates to be happy actually freely flowing, and allowing your body to be able to release those. So there's a concept called the microbiome, trillions of bugs in your intestinal system. So when you have purposeful movement, you're actually able to change the milieu in your gut environment. And guess what? One of the best hormones that help you feel good. Remember, one of the things that I talk to my kids is that your thoughts are not your own, meaning that if you change the biochemistry in your brain, you can be happy or sad. It's not, we feel like the emotions that we have, we own. But the truth is that a lot of it can be changed with the chemical concentration. So serotonin, one of the most important hormones, right? One of the most important chemical substances in your body, right? That can improve your mood. Where does that come from? The vast majority of it is produced in your gut, right? The serotonin that you need. So when you move, when you move, the serotonin levels can increase. And also exercise in general, moving your muscles, moving your body. It doesn't have to be, right? It doesn't have to be the fact that you're going to a gym. One of my favorite hobbies is vulture watching. And I'm in Detroit. So people say, wait, he's vulture watching in Detroit. How is that possible? So my office is right next to a giant exercise facility where essentially 1,000 people normally work out. So I always enjoy watching the vultures as they circle the parking lot again and again and again. Why? To find that the closest parking spot right next to the door of the gym. Why? Because they can just jump out and start exercising, right? If somebody can carry them and take them in and right into and put them on the treadmill, it'd be just a fantasy. It'd be awesome. Now, is that purposeful movement? I don't think so. If you just go to the gym and do nothing more, right? Does that really help your health? I think it's better than doing nothing. But really, true movement comes when you actually have purposeful movement. That means playing with your dog and having your dog run around and you can chase it. You playing with your kids, biking through the neighborhood and talking to your neighbors, or going up and down your stairs and doing things to your house or doing activities in your house that really you enjoy. Because what that does, it's not movement that's, oh, I can't believe I got to work out for 20 minutes. This is terrible, right? It's actually movement that's congruent with purpose. And when you do that, you're actually improving your cardiovascular fitness, but also you're improving it in a way that you're not counteracting the efforts of what the what the movement's supposed to do by increasing all your stress hormones, changing the microbiome and the environment. The microbiome are trillions of bugs in your intestinal system, and they can affect your health. They can affect your mood. Living a joyful life involves movement and purposeful movement. Super important, right? As important, and my friend Dr. Mark Hyman, he talks about the best way to improve your health. And to me, the best way to really improve the joy in your life and the biggest tool you have is the fork, right? That sucker, that fork can be the difference between having a life that's not happy or healthy and one that is. And why is that? Because the foods that you choose can affect your health and your mood, right? To to me, health is wealth. Health is really how you get joy. So remember, it's really not about how much food you can put in your mouth at the buffet, right? It's not about, you know, you ever been to I don't know if you ever been to those Chinese buffets. I used to go when I was young man in college, and I would my goal would be it's me against the buffet, right? And guess what? I'm going to win. I'm going to eat as much as possible with whatever the $9.99 or $19, whatever it is that you paid, right? But really, you're the loser because when you eat all that crap, the simple carbohydrates, right? And all the bad fats and all the processed foods, what is actually happening to your body? Your body's being ravaged by foods that are destroying all the good products it creates. And again, I'll go back to the microbiome. The microbiome is so critical in giving great health. As I said, serotonin and the fatty acids that it creates in the microbiome, the byproducts, right? It actually can contribute to great health. If you have simple carbohydrates, what I mean by that is stuff like uh, simple pasta, white bread, candy, all the things that we seem to love. A pizza would be perfect, right? A pizza that's made and full of that simple carbohydrates and bad fats and processed foods will really wreak havoc in your body. What it does is, on a microscopic level, when it reaches your gut, it causes inflammation. That inflammation can lead to you not having the right products. There's there's bacteria and bugs that are changed completely. Products that can worsen your health and lead to what? Not having a joyful life. That's the critical thing. You know, we're bombarded by commercials, about how you can eat these amazing products and also how you can get something for nothing, right? So you can eat this amazing food that's processed and nothing's going to happen to you. There are no free lunches. There are no free rides. Everything has a price. When you eat processed foods that your body hasn't seen, it's going to completely change your environment. And that leads to what? Diabetes, leads to cardiovascular heart disease. It can lead to autoimmune disease like Crohn's disease, like psoriasis. It can lead to poor mental health, and it can lead to having you not have a joyful life. A joyful life and having the right food plan, not the right diet. I don't like the word diet because what it ascribes is something that will fail. I mean, think of how many diets have failed, right? The rice eating diet, the plant eating diet, the seafood diet, the I will start eating only when the sun shines diet or a cloudy day diet. Who knows? There's so many diets. And they all have one common theme. They are not something that's sustainable. And when you're not sustainable, you fail. And when you fail, it's not really something that can help you in the long run. So to me, it's a food plan, a food plan with whole foods and whole foods, which are you create fruits and vegetables, right? If you can have foods that are beautiful, like turmeric and cumin, that can help your health, and really foods that are fermented, for foods like sauerkraut, pickles, if you like kombucha, those fermented foods can really improve your microbiome and in turn can change your mood, right? Multiple studies show depression, anxiety can be improved with the microbiome being changed. So, my third step is food and your food plan, right? The fork being the most important tool in the fight to get great health. Now, we talk about, when I talk to patients about the fact that your community or your tribe, right, is so important, they go, well, doctor, how does my community or tribe really affect anything? Human beings, right? We're social creatures. We survive through horrific times. Why? Because as a group, as we're stronger together than we are individually, right? And we're facing a crisis in our society, in Western society, where individuality is like awesome. Like everybody wants to be independent. Everybody wants to do it themselves, which is fantastic. You know, listen, I'll always tell you that if you can do something and aspire to do that, please go for it. However, remember that we are stronger together, right? I mean, to me, social isolation is at a crisis level in our society. Suicide rates are at epidemic levels, not in our just in our country, but the whole planet. And why is that? This whole craving to be independent, where we're taking children essentially that are not ready to be out there, that are out there and making decisions, often poor decisions. We have to understand that it's not a weakness to have community, right? It's not a weakness to have a tribe that helps you. And by a community, I don't mean just yes people that say, "Oh yeah, you're the best thing ever. Yeah, everything you do is great. You're awesome." It's not that. It's people that give you great advice. That's not always what you want to hear, right? It's like, you know what, Partha, I think that this works, but maybe you can do this. That's awesome because then you get a real sense of what is actually going on, a real sense of, what it is that you can achieve. And also when you're struggling, they can support you and say, you know what, it's okay, let's approach it a different way. It's critical to have those people. And that community and tribe does what? Remember, I talked about the fight or flight mechanism, right? It changes that whole fight or flight idea. And how does that do that? When you have a group of people that can support you, what happens? The stress level decreases. What happens? All the stress hormones that are increased, right? When you have the fight or flight mechanism, take a step down. You know that somebody's got your back, right? It's so important that you have people that will understand and really back you. That's an important tool. We know from multiple studies that heart disease, for example, is reduced. We know chronic diseases, diabetes, high blood pressure, right? They're decreased or better controlled when you have a community. And what is also really important is with a community of people, you can have a joyful life. The Okinawans, they would have a group of people that they would have for life, a group of folks that would stand by each other. And it was incredible. Their levels of disease were far less than others. Their levels of joy and real purposeful living were tremendous. And the factor was community. So it's really important. The fourth step is to have a community and tribe. And listen, you may be in a town of 30, out of 30 million and be just as lonely. What's nice to me is now with communities that are virtual, right? I mean, social media, despite all of its limitations, has a lot of positive. You can connect with people that you never knew existed. People like yourself that can say, hey, you know what? I understand this person, and they can support you. And what that does is immensely increases the joy and the satisfaction and the health in your life. What I'm equating is that health and joy and happiness are congruent. They exist together, and they can really, really change the paradigm so that you can live a joyful life. And when you have a community and tribe, right? It's so much easier to have what I call spirituality. And when I mean spirituality, I don't mean, I had a patient that just came in yesterday, and I told him that, listen, I think that meditation is really going to help you. And he's 6'4", 270 pounds. He's a big guy, and he's like, listen, Doc, I am not going to go meditate. And I told him, Joe, it doesn't mean that you have to go on top of a mountain, go cross-legged, and go for hours. It's not that. Spirituality means what? Just understanding that there's a force bigger than you that can support you. It's a simple act of breathing, right? When you just concentrate on your breath, and many of us don't even do this. Many of us don't even stop to concentrate on our breath to be able to focus. So if you concentrate on your breath and just do the act of breathing in and breathing out, what happens? You stop thinking about all that other stuff. Your friend, you know, screaming at you, your boyfriend or girlfriend doing something that you don't want them to do, your parents doing something that you don't want them to do, whatever, any bad thing that comes to your mind, or that person that you know gave you the wrong finger while you were driving, right? I mean, all those things, you stop thinking about that. What do you think about? You think about your breath. That is spirituality. And why does that help? When you have spirituality, you can really focus and you can really lead a tremendous and purposeful life. Heart disease goes down, right? Your diseases that kill nations, diabetes, high blood pressure, strokes, I mean, these are things that really affect us, can all be decreased with spirituality. One of my favorite athletes of all time, Michael Jordan, could not have won 6 titles if it wasn't for spirituality. His coach, Phil Jackson, really, really talked about spirituality and how spirituality can really, really tremendously change things. Why? It changes your focus, right? Changes your focus so you don't have to worry about all the extraneous. And again, that goes back to your fight or flight mechanism. When you have spirituality, you can do what? Focus on the task at hand. And that gives you calmness, peacefulness, and joy. Decreases disease as well. So it's really, really important. And when I say spirituality, people say, well, I don't like religion. I'm not religious. And I tell them, listen, spirituality doesn't mean religion. It can. If you like to pray, go for it. It's awesome. But if you don't want to be religious, you can do yoga, you can meditate, you can take a walk in a garden, perform Tai Chi, whatever is your pleasure. But that spirituality is going to be tremendous in doing what? In changing your life, changing all that you do that makes you joyful, all that you do that makes you the person that you want to be. And you don't have to be a sports star, an athlete, that you can be just like you and me, everyday folks that just want to be able to live a joyful life. So remember, I told you, I spoke about a lot of things, but to me, it's really important that of the 5 steps, take the first step. Sometimes when you're stuck in a rut, when you don't feel like things are going your way, just take the first step. Take one step from any of the 5 steps that I gave you, right? Purposeful living, movement, food, the right food plan, community, and spirituality. Make one move and then add to it every week. I promise you it will make your life far better than it is right now if you want to. It's your choice. It's your choice to take a hold of your life and be your own health hero. I thank you so much for your time, and namaste. We'll see you real soon.
Hi, my name is Laya and I'm a senior at Novi High School.
Hello, my name is Lena and I'm a 10th grader at Novi High School.
Hi, I'm Lily and today we will be answering two important questions. How high schoolers can become more mentally balanced and how high schoolers can encourage others at their school to promote good mental health. Let's start by discussing the first question. To answer this question, you need to identify what makes high schoolers go into the state of imbalance. The two causes we're focusing on are stress. Reflect on at least one stressor you face on a day-to-day basis. One stressor I face is schoolwork. There's no right answer to this question. As you can see here in this chart, a teen's stress can be caused by a variety of things, including schoolwork, friends, and parents. Now that we know what causes us stress, we're going to talk about how stress affects you. In other words, how do you know when you are stressed? Here are some examples of the effects stress can have. Stress has the power to affect your physical, mental, and emotional health. This causes us to not be able to reach our full potential. Now Vaishnavi is going to talk about how high schoolers can bring mental health efforts to their schools and what we've done at Novi High School.
Thanks, Lily. My name is Vaishnavi Jagler and I'm a junior at Novi High School. We will now answer the question about how high schoolers can mitigate their stress in their schools. To give you an idea, we'll take a look at some of the ways we do it through our Student Mental Health Committee. Novi Student Mental Health Committee was started in 2016 under Principal Carter. Some of the elements of our committee include You Matter Week and Mindfulness Mondays, both of which we'll elaborate on later. And then we have quotes that we send through Remind every single Monday to start off the week on a positive note. And table talks where we invite people to talk about how they feel about the school environment so we can get a different insight and they can give us some suggestions. Our goals are to increase compassion within the school, promote the balance of mental, physical, and emotional health, and break the stigma around mental health. Now Lena is going to talk about the different staff and student programs that we had at Novi High School.
For example, we often conduct meditation sessions where we de-stress by using breathing and relaxation tools. There are 6 main tools that we use. Breathing with awareness of purpose, where we inhale positive thoughts for ourselves and exhale optimistic thoughts for everyone around us. Next is heartful affirmations, where we give ourselves and others a spark of positivity and motivation. Then is heartfulness relaxation, where we relax our body, starting from our toes all the way to the top of our head. Then is heartfulness meditation, where we focus on one thought and tune our mind to our heart. Then is unwind, which is a technique that makes you feel lighter by removing the stressful impressions made throughout the day. And lastly is reflection, which can be done by doing something as simple as journal entries, which will be a tangible source to look back at the improvements made over time. These tools provide many benefits, such as helping you control anxiety, helping you foster that positive sense of self, increasing your focus and overall clarity, and overall helping you feel relaxed and stress-free. In addition, it also helps with your social emotional learning, or SEL, which builds emotional intelligence through self-awareness, self-management, and social awareness. Here are some pictures of students and teachers participating in these activities and using these tools.
Another event that we did at Novi High School was You Matter Week. You Matter Week was centered around destigmatizing mental health and illness. The intention of this school-wide event was to make sure that students were in an environment that they felt that they were more than their grades, more than their SAT score and their AP test score. We wanted to create a community that uplifted each other, where students focused on their mental well-being, where students realized that they were worth, where students felt that they were wanted and capable and loved and important. We had multiple activities leading up to the actual week of You Matter Week, including a canned fruit drive, bridge poster making, where we decorated the bridge in the middle of our high school, a speak out featuring our guest speaker, Chris, and performances by Awkward Paws, our school theater company, Major 6, our school a cappella group, and Novi Dance Company. We also featured 2 student speakers and a staff speaker who shared their own personal experience with mental health. During the actual week of You Matter Week, we had activities on each day and a color to represent that day. During the actual week of You Matter Week, we had activities on each day, as well as a theme and a color to go along with it. On Monday, for example, we had gratitude. We asked all of our students to wear purple, and during their 4th hours, they were part of a spark activity where they hung up sparks on the walls and answered the question, what motivates them, or what's their spark? On Tuesday, we had therapy dogs in the conference counseling rooms during all lunches, and all students were asked to wear yellow. On Wednesday, we had compassion, and all students were requested to wear blue. In the auditorium, we had Dr. James R. Doty, New York Times bestselling author and professor at Stanford, come and talk to our school community. On Thursday, we had love, where we passed out Hershey's Kisses during all lunches. On Friday, we had a clap-in for all the students and served free hot cocoa in the atrium in the morning. Please feel free to connect with us at novismhc@gmail.com or on Instagram and Twitter at novismhc to learn more about what we do at Novi High School and how you can become involved. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anna Meiling, and I'm a senior at Pioneer High School in Ann Arbor. I've been a member of Pioneer's Peer-to-Peer Depression and Anxiety Awareness Club for about 3 years now, and I've been given the wonderful opportunity of being able to educate and empower others, as well as myself, on the importance of mental health. Over the years, I've found that mental wellness is more than just being able to just handle stress. To me, mental wellness is being able to recognize our own symptoms, being able to listen to our body's needs, and gaining a true understanding of ourselves. Although these needs are different for everyone, they might include taking the time to go for a walk and enjoying nature, or something as simple as getting a glass of water. Mental wellness does not mean that a perfect mental state has been achieved, but I believe is more focused on becoming the best version of yourself. As a member of Peer-to-Peer, I have learned that reaching out to people is one of the most crucial steps in achieving mental wellness, but I also know firsthand that is one of the most difficult things to do. Our mission has been to educate our peers on the resources available at our school, as well as within our community. Though our efforts may seem insignificant to some, these mental health resources may be exactly what some people are looking for, and that's what matters the most. Additionally, taking into account the added difficulties of online school, we created an outreach plan for freshmen in need of support. We all know that freshman year is intimidating enough on its own, but being a freshman during the pandemic adds another layer of uncertainty and distress. Over the past few weeks, we have been communicating with several students in order to offer support and build relationships. It's so easy to feel isolated during this time, but our goal is to check in and let them know that we care and that we're here for them. Above all, our purpose is to raise awareness about the effects of depression and anxiety and let our peers know that we hear their struggles and that we're here for them. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Brewer, and I am a senior at Ann Arbor Pioneer High School in Ann Arbor, Michigan. To me, mental wellness is realizing when you take a step back and take time for yourself. It isn't something that you prioritize once a month, but something that you take time for every single day. If your mental health isn't at its best, neither are you. As for leadership in mental health, I think that this means reaching out to people, even when it makes you feel uncomfortable. If you see someone who looks like they might be struggling, regardless of if they're your close friend or a complete stranger, you reach out. This can be as a simple 2-minute check-in or as long as a 2-hour conversation. Either way, reaching out and reminding someone there are people that care about them and that they aren't alone can make an immeasurable difference. Additionally, I think that leadership in mental health is taking this a step further. This can be joining a group at your school that already exists or creating an entirely new one. At my school, I'm a part of Peer-to-Peer, a depression awareness group working to destigmatize mental health and support students. Each year, we run a mental health campaign. As a part of that, we hold an assembly where we select speakers to share their personal stories, highlight the different resources in our school, and introduce our members as people students can go to for support. We also go into each of the health classrooms every semester and present on common signs of depression and anxiety, how to support someone struggling, and where to go for help. Through these efforts, we are able to not only educate the students in our school about mental illness, but also show them that it is okay to struggle, and that if they are, there are places that they can go for help. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Leah Kumar. I'm a senior at Lhasa High School in Austin, Texas. And over the past couple years, I've been able to work with school faculty to implement a lot of really cool, really engaging, different mental wellness techniques and activities. My favorite one is the virtual compassion webinar that we organized with Dr. Doty about 2 years ago. It was really cool because he had written this book, Into the Magic Shop, and my wonderful wellness counselor that I worked with distributed the book to, the PTA book club, and over the next within a couple of weeks, they were all reading it, and they were telling me how much they enjoyed it and what they had learned from it. And it was really great to see the school community just kind of come together, a few weeks later to attend that webinar and to ask questions and participate and just really be open to learning about compassion and bettering themselves and taking care of their mental health. So that was really great. I've also been involved personally outside of school in a couple of different mental wellness activities that have given me an amazing sense of community, one of which being SWL, which has been really exciting. I can't believe we're already at our conference. We've been working so hard for the past couple months. It's been an amazing opportunity to meet so many ambitious and talented teenagers from around the nation and the world. But other than SWL, I've also been a part of Code for Nonprofit, and we've been able to work with CCARE at Stanford and the Heartfulness Institute to create 2 mental wellness apps. And we've actually done a little bit of research on those tools. And so that was really inspiring also to see that a change started by, 1 or 2 people could really have a positive impact on the lives of other people. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Iman Chinoy, and I am a senior at CM High School in Birmingham, Michigan. To me, mental wellness is the ability to be the best version of yourself possible. For everyone, this can mean something different. It could be exercising regularly, eating healthy, getting enough sleep during the night, or even managing stress. Really, it is just a state of being where you are happy and you are taking care of yourself. At times, this can seem like a challenging thing to accomplish. However, by taking small steps towards your goals and staying motivated, you can really come a long way. Something that ties into mental wellness is leadership. Leadership, by definition, is the ability to influence people or persons by your actions and beliefs. However, there can be good and bad leadership. If one is in the right mindset mentally, they will have others' best interests at heart and can encourage them to reach their full potential. This would be an example of great leadership. At CM High School, we have many clubs and organizations dedicated towards mental health. One of these organizations is Here For You. Through this particular organization, peer educators at CHOME, including myself, have made strides to increase the awareness of mental illness and combat the stigma against it. This includes making the whole student body feel comfortable and accepted at CHOME, which is why we participate heavily in You Matter Week, which showcases the importance of everyone. Also, a great leadership opportunity CHOME has to offer is the Student Advisory Board. This board collaborates with administrators and teachers on improving the school's inclusivity and academics. Through this, students are allowed to respectfully voice their opinions and work towards a common goal.
Hi, my name's Alex Beal, and I'm from Okemos High School. Today I'm going to be talking about what mental wellness means to me. And for me, it is so important to try to take care of my mental health and do something every day that really benefits me and makes me happy. So whether that's exercising, doing any sort of hobby, or anything like that, I try to do one thing a day that helps me out. And this is really important to me because school right now, especially with how crazy the world is right now, is so stressful. And doing something every day that makes you happy can really take the edge off and help you out and make you maybe even just a little bit less stressed.
Hi, my name is Nandita Murthy, and I'm from Okemos High School. I believe that the ability to lead comes from self-confidence. Personally, dealing with depression and anxiety has taken a great toll on my self-image and self-confidence. But getting the help I needed was a big key in becoming a better leader than I ever have been before. Without mental wellness, we can't help others to become the best versions of themselves as possible. Personally, getting the help I needed allowed me to put my energy towards things like bettering the world, bettering my community, and then bettering Okemos High School, all the way down to being a mental health advocate within the student body. That has really helped me advocate for mental wellness and better our community as a leader.
Hi guys, my name is Julia Ginter-Behrman. I am Isabella Lamacchia.
And I'm Megan Hoffman, and we are going to be talking about how mental health and leadership coincide. Mental health and leadership are very important to us. We believe that leadership is about influencing other people. Something that all student leaders have in common is that they want to make their schools and communities a better place. Mental health affects how we act and how we feel, so it is important to keep your mind healthy by actively doing things in our lives to aid it, such as being active, doing something for an hour each day that makes us happy, doing things for ourselves, not for others, and so much more. Personally, I like to take time to reflect on all the good things that have happened that day or week. Doing this allows me to take a step back. Oftentimes, student leadership and mental health coincide. Student leaders spend a lot of time doing things to make the school a better place, but we need to have time to have fun and breaks too. As members of the executive board, we are under a lot of pressure to be representative of our school, which can take a toll on our mental health at times. So it is important to use techniques to relax and take breaks when we need to.
As a school, Churchill has done multiple events to promote mental health. One that we have done recently was last year where we did an event called Crush the Stigma. It began with an assembly where 4 presenters from different walks of life gave personal stories on their mental health journeys. They explained what stigmas are, why it's important to discuss them, and how to go about having those tough conversations regarding mental health. The second part was using local resources to attain 4 old cars that were set out in our courtyard during the lunch periods. What people could do would they would come outside with a Sharpie and write down on the cars stereotypes and stigmas that they wanted to bring awareness to. After a few days of being allowed to write on them, we had an assembly in the parking lot where these cars were crushed, which symbolizes crushing the stigmas that were written on them. This definitely brought awareness to many mental health struggles that people were facing and showed that as a school, we can crush the stigma surrounding mental health and instead begin to talk about these issues as a community.
In addition to the Crushing the Cars event, our school's clubs work together to make the school itself a more welcoming environment. As a student council, we put up motivational posters in the hallways. These can differ from anywhere between a simple drawing, a nice motivational quote, or a kind message. Having these in the halls makes them more welcoming, it's more colorful, it's more enjoyable to be in than just like gray, plain walls. Another thing that we do as a school, one of our clubs, the Spanish National Honor Society, puts up kind sticky notes on World Kindness Day. They say things like, "You look great today," which are just nice, sweet messages that when you see them, it can just make your whole day better, you know? These messages are so nice that they have been up in our hallways since last year because people just appreciate them so much. Another thing that we have done as a school is our student council, and then this year our National Honor Society has done it as well, but we write teacher letters to our teachers. So what we do is we compile a list of all of our teachers' names in the school. This goes from anywhere between teachers, janitors, secretaries, every single employee in the building. And then people from the club sign up next to the teachers' names. So we try to get 2 people writing a letter per teacher. And then they write a kind letter to the teacher. This can be done virtually. It's hashtag COVID friendly. And so students write a letter to their teacher and they include personal memories as well as just kind things in general so that it's not just, "Hey, thank you for doing this." It's, "I appreciate you for doing this and here's why." So that event has been very helpful in making the teachers happy as well as the students because we have to make sure that teachers' mental health is good in addition to students.
To conclude, it's important to note that as student leaders, our job ranges beyond just material tasks in our school. We have an ethical imperative to not only work on improving our community, but doing so by cultivating a positive environment that consistently promotes the importance of mental well-being. Thank you for watching.
So I know that the day is coming to a close, and I want to invite you guys to get moving a little bit. We've been sitting down at our desks or on our couches, and I feel it's a nice time to stretch. So feel free to stand up, take some time to walk around, extend your legs, or just hold a pose that feels comfortable. You can walk around your kitchen or get some water, maybe do some jumping jacks, whatever feels good for you.
Yeah, so I'm glad you guys got to get moving a little bit. I know it's been quite a day sitting here at the desk, like every day now, since everything is virtual. But we're gonna do a little relaxation activity to try and get, your body calm, get everything relaxed, try and refocus ourselves, because we're almost at the end of it, day 2, which is really exciting. So we're just going to quickly start. So try to sit as comfortably as you can and try to close your eyes very softly and very gently. Beginning with your toes, wiggle your toes and feel them relax. Relax your ankles, your feet, and feel the energy moving up from the earth, up to your feet, to your knees, fully relaxing your legs. Relax your thighs. Feel the energy from the earth moving up your legs, completely relaxing them. Now let this energy move deeply, relaxing your hips, your stomach, and your waist. Relax your back from the top all the way to the bottom, and feel your entire back relaxing. Relax your chest, your shoulders, and feel your shoulders simply melting away. Relax your upper arms, your forearms, and each muscle in your hand, all the way to your fingertips. Feel your arms being completely relaxed. Move this energy from the earth into your neck muscles. Move your awareness up to your face. Relax your jaws, your mouth, your nose, your eyes, earlobes, facial muscles, foreheads, all the way to the top of your head. Now acknowledge how your whole body is completely relaxed. Move your attention to your heart. As you rest there, gently have the idea that the source of the light is illuminating your heart from within. It is attracting and pulling your attention inward. Feel immersed in the love and the light in your heart. Remain still and quiet and slowly become immersed in yourself. Remain absorbed within this deep silence for as long as you want, until you feel ready to come out again. Try to take 30 seconds to stay in this state and feel your body staying relaxed. So kind of coming back to a full circle ending, you might remember that we had introduced some guiding questions in the beginning. So now we're going to take a look at them once again just to see, did you accomplish your goals? Are you do you need to do a little more towards them, or what is the situation with that? So our first question for you guys was, what do you think of the term mental health? Now, we have gone over that a lot, but what does it personally mean to you? Like, I know for myself, it has definitely changed this conference yesterday, and just overall. So try to take note of that. Also, try to take note of what you feel and what you're doing with any stereotypes around it, right? Do you still feel an automatic stereotype, or is that kind of broken now? Or do you need to do some more effort to break that stigma? Our next question, I think this was our third question, was what do you hope to learn from this conference? So did you get what you were willing to learn from these speakers? Did you connect with the other members of the audience? Did you get any questions answered? So try to think about that. And we also asked you what you were excited about, and I hope that you fulfilled that goal, because that was our goal for you guys. So maybe you had some specific sessions or speakers that you were looking forward to. Definitely maybe write that down. Maybe you can even reach out to them in the future, listen to their other talks. Also try to think about how you feel now, and remember how you felt in the beginning. I know we did a relaxation, we did some screen detox, we did some drawing, breathing, circadian rhythms, and just kind of observe yourself, how you feel, and take a couple minutes to reflect on that.
All right, so now that we have done some reflecting, we can take some time to journal. So feel free to take your journals out of your wellness bundles, and you can jot down some of your answers to the original questions that Rena just went over. If you're unsure of what to write, that's okay too. Maybe just write down a few highlights from today, how you felt, maybe something one of the speakers said that stood out to you and you really liked, and maybe just something that you didn't expect. So we'll take about 2 minutes to do that.
Yeah, guys, really enjoyed this conference. We're almost done. We're almost there. I know I really enjoyed having such a responsive audience. I know it's in a webinar format, so we can't exactly, I can't exactly see you guys, but I know I have friends in the audience who are definitely responding positively to this. So I'm glad that this ended up going well for all of us. And it was also such a good experience with Lily and the SWL team to just connect with everyone.
I completely agree. I had such a fun time today, and I just want to thank you guys again for just giving up your time to be here and learn, and like Rena said, be a responsive and active audience. And I hope you guys had a great time. I know we did, and I have had such a fun time getting to know Rena and the rest of the SWL team. So yeah, again, thank you very much.
Yeah, so just to close things out today, I overall just want to say thank you to everyone who came. Thank you to the SWL team, the leadership team, anyone who helped organize this. It was obviously a successful conference, and we look forward to doing this next year and hopefully for years to come. Finally, Lily and I are also really thankful to the keynote speakers who made this experience and this conference really impactful. It was also a really great group of people, and we thought that being able to connect with you guys, especially, it's all virtual, but being able to have that connection, connection between the SWL team and our speakers was really inspiring. And I really hope you guys all enjoyed this conference, and we hope you will come back next year. Thank you.
Thank you.